What if the person standing next to you isn't a person at all, but a magic, a damager, waiting for the moment you lose your spiritual guard? In the narrow, flickering streets of a medieval ghetto, this wasn't a metaphor. It was a terrifying, everyday reality. You didn't just pray for your soul, you armed yourself for a war against an invisible legion of 300,000 demons that, according to the sages, surrounded every human being like the earth surrounds a seed. Welcome to Esoteric Synopsis. Today, we are opening the heavy, iron-bound gates of one of the most misunderstood chapters in human mysticism. We are looking through the lens of Joshua Trachtenberg's Jewish magic and superstition to find the truth behind the legend of the Jewish sorcerer. Imagine the year 1300. The air is thick with the scent of tallow candles and damp stone. To the outside world, the Jew was a figure of dread, a master of the dark arts who could dry up wells or summon plagues with a whispered Hebrew syllable. But if you stepped inside those homes, you wouldn't find dark wizards. You would find fathers placing iron knives under the pillows of newborn babies and mothers stitching salt into the hems of coats. This was a world where the powers of evil were as domestic as the furniture. The medieval mind didn't see magic as a violation of nature. It saw magic as the physics of the spirit. There were the Shedim, the classic demons, beings created at twilight on the sixth day of creation. Because the Sabbath arrived before God could finish them, they were left without bodies. They are the ultimate in-between creatures. They eat, they breed, and they die, but they fly like angels and know the future. Trachtenberg reveals a chilling detail. These entities were believed to frequent the very places humans felt most vulnerable: ruined buildings, dirty water, and the shadows of the night. But the most feared of all was the mother of the night, Lilith. To the medieval Jew, she wasn't a feminist icon or a poetic myth. She was the thief of breath, the one who strangled infants in their cradles. To fight her, the community didn't just use prayer, they used the circle. By drawing a circle around a birthing bed with a sword that had killed a man, or simply with charcoal, they created a jurisdictional boundary that no demon could cross. This brings us to the core of the mystery, the power of the name. In the esoteric tradition, the universe was not spoken into existence with mere words, but with the Hebrew alphabet, the very atoms of reality. If you knew the correct combination of these letters, you didn't just ask God for help, you compelled the universe to obey. This is the hashba'ah, the invocation. The most potent weapon in the magician's arsenal was the tetragrammaton, the four-letter name of God. But it didn't stop there. Through complex permutations, the sages derived the 12-letter, 42-letter, and even the 72-letter names. These weren't just titles, they were keys. Trachtenberg describes amulets, kamiot, parchments inscribed with these names, hidden in silver cases and worn around the neck. They were the bulletproof vests of the medieval era. But what happens when the living must speak to the dead? The cult of the dead in Jewish superstition is a haunting landscape. It was believed that for the first year after death, the soul hovered between our world and the next, occasionally returning to its old home. On certain nights, the dead minyan would gather in the local synagogue to pray. If a living person accidentally wandered in, the dead would fall upon them. To prevent the dead from following you home, people would change their route after a funeral or spill out all the water in the house where a death occurred, fearing the angel of death had washed his sword in it. This wasn't just superstition in the way we use the word today. It was a desperate, beautiful attempt to find agency in a world that offered none. When medicine failed, they turned to segulot, divine cures. If a child was dying, they would perform the ritual of changing the name. By legally renaming the child, they hoped to trick the angel of death. When he arrived to take Isaac, he would find only a boy named Chaim, life, and his warrant would be void. As we look back at these practices, we see a people living in a double reality. On the surface, they followed the strict, rational laws of the Torah. But underneath, in the marrow of their bones, they lived in a world of cosmic dread and wonder. They saw the evil eye in a neighbor's jealous glance and felt the brush of a demon's wing in a sudden draught of cold air. We like to think we have outgrown these shadows. We replaced the iron knife under the pillow with security systems and the protective amulet with science. But ask yourself, when you feel a sudden, inexplicable chill in an empty room, or when you avoid a certain path because it feels wrong, are you really so different from the medieval traveler clutching his parchment of holy names? Perhaps the demons didn't disappear. Perhaps they just learned to hide in the static of our modern world, waiting for us to forget their names so they can finally move closer. If you want to keep exploring the hidden corners of the human psyche and the texts that define our shadows, subscribe to Esoteric Synopsis. The gate is always open, but be careful what you let follow you in.